Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. So today, we're going to be looking at AI,
Yeah.
specifically AI and startups.
The future of AI for startups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're here for, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to explore. And we actually have a really cool report
We do.
that we're going to be going through today.
Yes, from Google Cloud.
Yeah, it's called Future of AI, Perspectives for Startups 2025. And it's pretty awesome.
It is.
It's not just like a general overview of like, here's AI.
Yeah, no.
Like we're talking predictions and advice for startups.
Shoot from the source.
Yeah.
Founders, CEOs, VCs, everybody.
And one of the things that I thought was super interesting
Yeah.
was this idea of complete AI systems.
Yeah, that was a concept that Yoav Shom really emphasized.
Complete AI systems. What does that even mean? Like,
Right.
what is that?
Yeah, so it's not about, creating some super intelligent being, right?
Okay.
It's more about how can startups strategically combine different AI models and tools, like pieces of a puzzle, if you will, to build more robust and practical solutions.
So instead of relying on like one AI model to do everything,
Right.
it's about actually orchestrating different AI technology to
SaaS.
work together.
Yeah,
That's a pretty interesting approach.
it is.
So like, what kind of specific things does this report highlight?
Well, one prediction that really stood out to me was from Amin Vadat,
Okay.
who believes that AI infrastructure will undergo a radical shift in the next 10 years.
Wow.
He thinks that advancements in compute density, liquid cooling,
Wow.
all of that is going to make today's systems look like prehistoric,
Yeah.
basically.
Like, wow, that's wild to think about.
It is, especially with the rise of generative AI, right? All of the computational power that we're going to need to support that.
Yeah, you're thinking about, okay, like generative AI, even just now, is still kind of in its early stages.
Right, it's nascent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet Elad Gil, for instance, he predicts that generative AI has enormous potential
Right.
to create new content, designs, even entire virtual worlds.
Oh my gosh, think about it from the perspective of like a startup.
Yeah,
If you're able to generate marketing campaigns on the fly or product design
absolutely.
or even training simulations,
Personalized training.
that would be wild.
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
The report also talks about multimodal AI, which is becoming more and more seamless.
Now, for our listeners who don't know, what is multimodal AI?
So imagine an AI that doesn't just process text, right?
Okay.
But can also understand images, sounds, even videos
All at once.
all at once.
Wow.
So basically, we're moving beyond chatbots
Okay.
to AIs that can truly interact with the world in a way that's similar to humans.
So it's not just understanding language.
No.
It's about understanding the context of a situation
Exactly.
that could revolutionize how startups, approach everything,
Yeah.
like customer service, marketing,
Product development for sure.
product development.
Yeah, and the report actually stresses that startups that can effectively leverage these tools will have a significant competitive edge.
All of this sounds super exciting.
It is.
But is anyone talking about like the fact that all this AI might replace people's jobs?
Yeah, it's a valid concern, of course.
Right.
But the report emphasizes AI's potential to augment human capabilities,
Okay.
not necessarily replace them.
Okay.
So, for instance, Elad Gil is excited about AI's potential to democratize healthcare and provide personalized education.
So it's not about replacing workers.
Yeah.
It's about helping them be more effective
Yeah, more effective and efficient.
at what they do.
Exactly. And that actually leads into another important theme in the report, which is building AI native teams and cultures within startups.
What does it mean to be AI native?
So it's about fostering an environment where everyone,
Not just the engineers.
not just the engineers, not just the data scientists,
Right.
but everyone understands and embraces AI as a tool to enhance their work.
So it's about making AI part of like the DNA of your company.
Precisely.
Wow.
And the report highlights insights from, folks like Arvind Jain,
Okay.
and Matthew Roof, who really emphasize the need for company-wide education and training programs to ensure that everyone is comfortable working with AI.
Yeah, because if you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to use it.
Exactly, and you're going to be left behind.
Wow. So that's the big picture.
Yeah.
But what about some actionable advice for startup founders?
So one of the perhaps surprising pieces of advice that comes up a lot
Okay.
is to prioritize top-line growth over immediate ROI.
That seems counterintuitive,
It does.
especially if you're a startup and you need the money.
Especially if you're a startup and resources are tight. Yeah.
Ah,
But, Arvin Jain argues that the real opportunity lies in using AI to create entirely new products and services
Okay.
that generate revenue streams you couldn't have imagined before.
So it's not about like, okay, here's our little pie and we just got to be more efficient.
Just optimize what you're already doing.
It's about making a whole new pie.
Exactly.
That's wild. That's a huge risk,
It is.
especially for a young company.
It is. And this actually ties into another concept
Okay.
that Chamath Palihapitiya, the founder of Social Capital, brought up,
Okay.
which is, quote, building software factories, not products.
Okay, now unpack that for me. What is a software factory?
So he's suggesting that instead of building individual AI-powered products,
Okay.
startups should focus on building systems that can rapidly generate a range of AI solutions.
So it's like creating a platform or an engine
Exactly.
that can churn out custom AI solutions on demand.
Precisely.
That's really cool. Can you give me an example?
So imagine a startup that builds a software factory that can create personalized learning experiences
Okay.
for different subjects, age groups, and learning styles.
Yeah.
That's a much more adaptable and scalable business model than just creating a single educational app.
That's a really powerful example. And I can see how that would be more valuable than just creating like one thing.
Exactly.
So much more valuable.
It's a fundamental shift in how we think about building AI-powered businesses.
Okay, so we have the big picture, but I'm sure there are also a lot of challenges
Oh, absolutely.
that AI startups face.
Building an AI startup is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
So in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the key challenges and considerations that AI startups need to address.
Yeah, we'll look at data readiness,
Yep.
explainability tools, all of that.
Okay, cool.
And we'll talk about the need for robust AI systems that can handle the complexities of the real world.
So stay tuned because we're just getting started.
We are just getting started.
We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the challenges and opportunities that await startups in this age of AI.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of AI for startups. We left off talking about how exciting this all is, but
Yeah.
there's always challenges.
Of course there are. Building an AI startup is no walk in the park, that's for sure.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you're seeing that startups need to be aware of?
Well, one that comes up a lot in the report is this need for what they call last mile solutions.
Okay.
Dylan Fox talks about that quite a bit.
And what does that mean? Because it sounds like a logistics problem.
It does, but it's really about bridging the gap between a proof of concept
Okay.
and a product that's actually ready for the market.
Okay.
It's those final, often subtle details that can really make or break a user's experience.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. So let's say you're building a speech-to-text app, right?
Okay.
Getting that basic transcription right is one thing,
Okay.
but accurately recognizing, industry-specific jargon or filtering out background noise,
Okay.
those are the last-mile challenges that can make your app stand out.
So it's not just like the wow factor of AI. It's actually making it so that it works in a way that is useful to people.
Exactly. And Dylan Fox, he emphasizes that these last-mile solutions often require a really deep understanding of the specific domain you're working in.
So it's not just AI expertise,
No.
but domain expertise as well.
It is. It's both.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Another challenge I think that stood out to me was this idea of more nuanced benchmarks for AI performance.
Yeah, Dylan Fox actually talks about that too.
He does. He seems to be coming up quite a bit.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good insights.
He does.
But he's arguing that we need to move beyond those kind of generic metrics, right?
Okay.
And develop benchmarks that are really tailored to specific tasks and contexts.
So for example, relying on a single metric,
like
word error rate for speech recognition.
Right.
Doesn't really tell you how well it actually works in the real world.
Exactly. It might not capture the full picture.
So it's about defining like what good actually means in a context.
Yeah.
Not just like a number.
Yeah, it's not just about abstract numbers.
Okay, so that makes sense. And I think that would be particularly important for startups.
Definitely.
Who are really trying to differentiate themselves.
Absolutely. You need to show investors, customers, why your solution is better.
Yeah.
And you can't just do that with like
generic numbers.
Yeah, simple generic metrics.
Exactly. Okay. Now, speaking of differentiation, the report also stressed the importance of defensible moats.
Yes, this is so important.
What does that even mean in AI?
So, it's not enough to just build like a cool AI product, right?
Okay.
You need to create a business that's actually difficult to copy.
Right.
And, David Friedberg put it this way. He said, an LLM wrapper is not a business.
Okay, I need you to unpack that one for me. What is an LLM wrapper and why is that a problem?
So basically, an LLM wrapper is a company that takes an existing large language model, like GPT-3, and just builds a simple interface around it
Yeah, okay.
without adding any real value or innovation. It's like putting lipstick on a pig.
Okay.
It might look superficially different, but it's still fundamentally the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And why is that not a sustainable business model?
Because anyone can access those large language models, right?
Oh, okay.
So if your entire business is based on that, you're setting yourself up to be copied.
Or even just replaced?
Or even just replaced by the model itself, yeah.
Wow, okay. So what is the alternative?
So the report suggests a few different strategies.
Okay.
Such as, developing proprietary data sets.
Okay.
Creating novel algorithms, maybe focusing on niche markets where your AI expertise really gives you an advantage.
So it's about finding ways to use AI.
To create something unique.
Yeah.
And valuable.
Yeah, that can't just be copied overnight.
Exactly. It can't be easily replicated.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about chasing the latest AI trends.
Right.
It's really about taking that strategic approach to building a sustainable business.
Now, another challenge that comes up a lot when we talk about AI is ethics.
Oh, absolutely.
How does this report address that?
Well, the report doesn't shy away from ethical implications at all.
Okay.
Mathieu Roof, for example, brings up the fact that AI can be used to create fake or misleading content.
That is a little terrifying.
It is scary, especially in a time when misinformation is already such a big problem.
Yeah.
Right. So as AI systems become more sophisticated and capable of generating realistic images and videos and text, it gets harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. I mean, we're seeing that already, but it's going to get so much worse.
It is a concern, and it's something that AI startups really need to be mindful of.
Okay.
The report doesn't offer any easy answers.
That's right.
But it does encourage founders to think critically about the potential impact of their work.
Okay.
And to consider safeguards to prevent their technology from being used for harmful purposes.
So it's not just about cool tech, it's about responsible tech.
It's about responsible tech, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to become even more important as this technology develops.
I agree.
Now, another challenge that came up is data, good data.
Oh, data is always a challenge, right?
Right.
Mayada Gonema, the CTO and co-founder of Thread AI,
Right.
She talks about the importance of data readiness.
And what is data readiness?
So it involves collecting, cleaning, and labeling data in a way that's useful for training AI models.
That sounds very resource intensive.
It can be, yes, especially for startups that might not have huge teams or budgets dedicated to data.
Right, yeah.
But she also suggests that startups can actually sometimes have an advantage here because they're often focused on those niche markets.
Okay.
So they can gather specialized data sets that are more valuable.
Then more generic data sets.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about finding your little corner of the world and
leveraging that, yeah.
Yeah, and really getting to know that data.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now, even with the best data, there's another challenge. Explainability?
Ah, yes, explainability.
Because, AI is becoming more and more complex.
It is.
Harder and harder to understand. So,
I'm kind of a black box sometimes.
Yeah.
And that can be a real barrier to adoption.
especially when you're talking about like healthcare or finance.
Exactly. Areas where trust and accountability are so important.
Right, you need to be able to understand why.
You got to know why.
The AI is making the decision that it's making.
You need to know why, and that's where explainability tools come in.
Okay.
So these tools are designed to shed light on the AI's reasoning, right?
Okay.
To make those decisions more transparent and trustworthy.
And is that something that is like readily available? Are these tools?
Mayada, she actually wishes that these tools were a bit further along.
Really?
Yeah, she really recognizes their importance in helping us understand and mitigate the potential risks of AI.
But it's not just about like mitigating risk. Explainability can actually help us improve AI.
Absolutely. By understanding how it works, we can find errors, we can improve its accuracy, we can make it more robust.
So it's not just a nice to have, it's an essential.
It is essential.
For AI. Yeah, for building trustworthy and effective AI.
Okay, now, amidst all of these challenges, what are some of the opportunities? Like, what should startups be paying attention to right now?
So one trend that's really emerging is hyper-personalization,
Okay.
and that's driven by, the decreasing cost of training and running AI models.
So Crystal Huang, she's a general partner at GV.
Yeah,
She sees that as a major opportunity for startups to create these tailored AI-powered products and services.
exactly. Imagine AI-powered personal shoppers,
Okay.
tutors, even fitness coaches
That adapt to you.
that adapt to you, to your needs.
Wow, that's a big change from the way we do things now.
It is. It's a shift away from that one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah, I can see how startups would be well positioned to take advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely. They're much more agile.
And adaptable than larger companies.
Okay, now as we start to think about AI being more personalized,
Yeah,
what does that mean for things like data privacy?
that's a great point. And it's something that startups need to be very proactive about addressing.
Okay.
Building trust with users is going to be so important. And that means being transparent about how their data is being used
Uh-huh.
and having really strong security measures in place.
Okay, so we've touched on this a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of bring it back, like the future of work.
It's a big question, right?
Yeah, like as AI gets more and more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to people's jobs?
What happens to us? Yeah.
Yeah, like what happens to all of us?
Yeah, it's a question that everyone's asking.
Right.
And the report offers a bunch of different perspectives.
Okay.
But one common theme is this idea of human-in-the-loop systems.
Okay, and we've talked about that a little bit.
We have, yeah.
Can you kind of remind us what that means?
Yeah, so basically it's about combining the strengths of both humans and machines.
Okay.
Harrison Chase, the CEO of LangChain,
Okay.
he's a big proponent of this approach.
Okay.
He believes that AI can free us up from those mundane, repetitive tasks so that we can focus on things that require creativity, critical thinking.
Things that humans are good at.
Exactly, things that humans excel at.
Okay.
And Jill Greenberg Chase, an investment partner at Capital G,
Okay.
she agrees. She believes that AI can help us focus on work that's truly meaningful.
Okay, so it's a little bit more optimistic.
It is a more optimistic view
Yeah.
than just robots are taking over.
Okay, so it's not about humans versus machines.
No,
It's about finding ways to work together.
to create a better future for everyone.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about infrastructure.
Okay.
Because as these AI models get more complex,
Yes.
more data intensive, the systems that support them,
Need to evolve as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at there?
Well, Amin Vadat, VP of Systems and Cloud AI at Google Cloud,
Okay.
he predicts that in 10 years, our AI infrastructure will be unrecognizable.
Wow.
He's talking about advancements in compute density,
Okay.
liquid cooling, specialized networking.
So those advancements will be essential for supporting the next generation of AI applications.
Absolutely.
But what does it mean for startups?
So the good news is that the cost of computation is dropping rapidly.
Oh,
And Amin even suggests that if your startup has an idea that hinges on, computation costs decreasing by a factor of 10 or even 100,
okay.
it's a safe bet to assume that those reductions will happen.
So that's pretty encouraging for startups.
It is. Those barriers to entry are getting lower.
Okay, so it's become easier to get started.
It is, however, startups also need to be adaptable.
Okay.
Ravaraj Jain, a partner at Lightspeed, advises startups to avoid getting locked into specific technologies
Okay.
and instead build with this agnostic infrastructure
Yeah.
that allows them to leverage the best-in-class models and databases that are always evolving.
Okay, so it's about building for flexibility.
Exactly, for adaptability.
Okay, so this has been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
We've really explored the potential of AI for startups.
Okay.
We've talked about the challenges, the opportunities.
Yeah.
And in our final segment, I want to kind of wrap it up
Okay.
by talking about, what does this all mean for the future of AI
Okay.
and its impact on society?
Big questions.
Yeah, big questions. Stay tuned for more. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive on the future of AI for startups.
It's been a really fascinating conversation so far.
Yeah, we've covered so much ground,
From predicting the AI landscape of 2025
Yeah.
to, dissecting all the challenges and opportunities
Yeah, and I feel like
that await startups.
we've only just scratched the surface.
Right, because AI is constantly evolving.
Yeah, it's always pushing those
We're
boundaries.
always pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And that brings us to something that's been a recurring theme throughout our conversation.
Which is,
The relationship between humans and AI.
Right. It's this dance, this partnership.
Just like this big question mark.
It is, and it's a question that sparks a lot of fascination.
Yeah.
And a little anxiety, too, I think.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
As AI gets more and more sophisticated,
Yeah.
it's natural to wonder where humans fit in.
Where do we fit in? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the report offers a pretty reassuring perspective on this, actually.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, many experts, like Harrison Chase,
Okay.
CEO of LangChain,
Okay.
he believes that the most successful AI systems will be those that leverage the strengths of both humans and machines.
So this human-in-the-loop concept.
Exactly, where AI augments human capabilities.
Right, rather than replacing them.
Yes, instead of replacing us, it's about helping us.
Yeah, so it's about finding that right balance.
Finding that balance.
Letting the AI do what it does best.
Let it handle the data analysis, the repetitive tasks.
Right, and we can focus on the things.
And then we can focus on the creativity,
that works.
the critical thinking, the emotional intelligence.
The things that, make us human.
The things that we excel at.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Jill Greenberg Chase,
yes.
an investment partner at Capital G,
Uh-huh.
she made a really good point about this. She said that AI, if it's used effectively,
Yeah.
can free us up to do the things,
To spend time on things that actually matter.
the things that are actually meaningful.
Yeah, that bring us fulfillment, where we can really contribute our unique skills.
It's a little bit more of an optimistic outlook.
It is. It's a much more optimistic view than just robots are taking over.
Yeah, it's not the Terminator.
Not the Terminator, no.
Which is nice.
It's a much more, it's a much more hopeful and empowering way to think about it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but I think there's still some big questions out
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. They're huge questions.
As AI keeps evolving.
Right. Like, how is it going to change work itself?
Yeah, will we need to, learn new skills?
Will we need to develop completely new ways of thinking to even stay relevant?
Right.
And maybe even more importantly, how do we make sure that AI is used ethically?
Yeah, responsible.
Especially as it becomes more integrated into our lives.
What are the guardrails?
What are the guardrails, exactly?
I don't think anyone has those answers yet.
No, we're all figuring it out as we go.
Right.
But I think that's why these conversations are so important.
Right.
We need to talk about these things, we need to be having this dialogue, and we need to collaborate to make sure that AI is used for good.
Right, and the report really does emphasize that.
It does.
That it's on all of us.
It's on all of us, absolutely.
To kind of figure out how to do this in a way that is beneficial for everyone.
Exactly, from entrepreneurs to policymakers to everyday citizens.
Right, so that brings us to another really interesting point from the report.
Okay, what's that?
AI as a force for democratization.
Democratization. Now, that's an interesting concept. What does that even mean in the context of AI?
So, several experts in the report, like Elad Gil,
Okay.
suggested
Yeah.
that AI could empower individuals
Okay.
and level the playing field in ways that we've never seen before.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right, so for example,
Yeah.
healthcare,
Oh, yeah.
like personalized diagnoses,
Personalized medicine.
treatment plans that are tailored to you,
Tailored to your specific needs, yeah.
or education.
Yeah, personalized learning.
So everyone has access to a really high-quality education.
High-quality education that's tailored to their learning style, their pace, their needs.
It's pretty exciting.
It is exciting, but the report also cautions us,
Oh, right.
This democratizing potential, it's not guaranteed.
Right.
It depends on how we develop and deploy AI.
So are we prioritizing accessibility?
Yeah, are we prioritizing inclusivity?
Are we being ethical?
Are we thinking about the ethics?
Because if we don't, then...
If we don't, it could go in a very different direction.
Yeah, so it's really a call to action for everyone.
It is, for all of us.
If we want this technology to be a force for good,
A force for good, yeah.
then we all have to do our part.
We have to be responsible stewards of this technology, absolutely.
So as we conclude our deep dive into the future of AI for startups,
Yeah.
I'm left with a sense of, excitement, but also responsibility.
Yeah.
The future of AI, it's not predetermined
No, it's being shaped right now
by the choices that we're making,
by the innovations we pursue.
by the values that we prioritize.
Absolutely. And this report has given us a glimpse into what's possible, the good and the bad.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that technology is a tool.
It is a tool.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
For good or for evil. Yeah.
So the future of AI is up to us.
It is.
If we approach it with a sense of responsibility,
Responsibility.
a commitment to to being ethical.
To being ethical.
And if we really focus on human well-being,
On human well-being.
then it has the potential to change the world for the better.
It does. It has that potential.
And that's a future that's worth striving for.
It is a future worth striving for, and one that I'm actually quite optimistic about.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Good.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the future of AI for startups.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you found it insightful.
And thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Maybe even inspiring.
Yeah, a little bit inspiring.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep diving deep.
Deep dive indeed.